right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Welcome back. This is lesson 18 for our GBS Beginner English for the fall semester of 2021. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're having a good time. I hope you're sitting down, and I hope you're ready to have a good time tonight because we're going to talk about going to the movies and having a good time there. Now, we're going to have some fun. We got a lot to talk about tonight, so let's get started and have a good and wonderful time. All right, that's what I want to hear. I love hearing about wanting to have a good time. So, when we talk about movies, there are four main categories of movies that are out there. Now, you may say, oh, teachers, there's a lot more than four categories. Well, yes, there are, but there are really only four categories of fictional movies that you can put all the others into. One of them, romantic, drama, I should say. Drama is when you're playing on people's emotions, you're going and you're being driven by what the characters say in the story. That is what drama is. You have action. This is where it's the exact opposite of what drama is. Instead of being driven by what the characters say, it's being driven by what the characters do. The characters' motions and what they're doing are much more important than what they're saying. You have comedy. Now, comedy is designed basically just to make you laugh. Wait, that was funny. Come on, that was funny. No? Okay, well, it should be funny. All right, okay. So comedy, sometimes comedy can be a lot of fun, but sometimes people may think, not so much. And the fourth category is thrillers. Now, thrillers are movies that are designed to either make you think or to give you a jump scare by something going wrong, and all of a sudden, oh no, what's happening? You don't know what's going to happen. But when you do get a thriller, you may end up with things that
Hello there.
and start all over. You don't actually have to say what they are. But those four types of movies, you can place almost every other kind of movie into one of those four categories. You can put them in between. You can talk about horror films. Horror films are a thriller. They're designed to scare you or make you think. You can talk about science fiction. You can make a science fiction movie in any of those categories. You can make an animated movie. Now, animated is a little bit different. We'll talk about it in just a second, but you can make any other kind of movie into these four main categories. The other one, other than nonfiction, other than fiction, is nonfiction. Now, when you have nonfiction, generally what you're talking about is real. And as we're going to talk here in a minute about a movie that's coming up, one of the movies that's coming out, I'm not sure when it's supposed to be released. I saw the trailer for it. It's done by Will Smith. It's Welcome to Earth. And that is a nonfiction movie. It is something where he is going and doing the different activities that are in the movie. He's exploring and seeing what the earth is like. So, four types of fiction, one type of nonfiction, but you can have many different things within nonfiction. You can have stories, news, biographies. There are many things you can do under nonfiction. Now, I said I'd come back and talk about animated. Now, when you have a story that you want to tell, there are three mediums that use spoken words that you can present your material. You can present your material either live action, and that can be on stage, or in a movie where you're using real people doing real actions and then they follow the story. Or you can have an animation. Now, animations, you may say, oh, teacher, animations are for kids. Animations are, okay, wait. Are you telling me that animations are not just for kids? Exactly. There are animations out there that are purely designed for adults. Now, I'm not talking about, those icky, no, I'm actually not going that far. But there are animations that are designed for an adult audience more than for a children's audience. So, saying an animated movie, it's just the method that they're going to use to tell the story. The last way that you can present a story using spoken medium is through an audio book or a radio drama. And using that, you're relying on people's imaginations to help fill in the blanks. This is one of the great things about reading books is that the author gives you the words, the setting, the dialogue, but your mind fills in the rest. It fills in the rest of the story. When you listen to an audiobook, you're just listening to somebody read those words, and then pictures that you put in your mind are what the story is. So these are different ways that you can enjoy them. So watching a movie, going out and spending time, hey, COVID-19 restrictions are getting relaxed. Make sure you get your COVID shots, get out there and see a movie. Although, I hate to say this, the last movie that my wife and I went to go see was Bohemian Rhapsody. That was several years ago, and haven't had a movie that we wanted to go see the movie theater since then. Hopefully that'll change. Hopefully we'll get a good movie coming up. No? Well, maybe they'll send us something and we'll be able to go out and, okay, maybe not. So, different movies. Now, we're going to listen to a dialogue here between Jeff and Kirk about what they want to do this weekend. So, let's listen.
Hey, Kirk, do you have plans for Friday night?
Friday night? I don't think so. Why?
Do you want to see a movie?
Sure, I'd love to. What's playing?
Free Fall is playing at the theater.
Great. I love action movies. When do you want to meet?
How about at 7 p.m. in front of the theater?
Okay. And let's get some pizza after the movie.
Sounds good. See you then.
All right. Now, this may sound, if this was between a man and a woman, this would be like going out on a date. But it doesn't have to be setting up for a date. You can go hang out with your friends. You can go hang out with a buddy or a female friend. There's nothing wrong with that. Going to the movies with your friends. When I was in high school, my friends and I would go out to the movies. We'd go see a movie, and then we'd go to a special Chinese restaurant that was in our town. And we used to have fun. We used to make it the gentleman's night out. And we'd all get dressed up in coat and tie. We'd go see a movie that we wanted to, and then we'd go have Chinese food. And we enjoyed it. And it was fun. And as a matter of fact, the owner of the Chinese restaurant used to laugh and enjoy when we'd come in and have our gentleman's night out. And it was always a lot of fun. So now we're going to listen to that dialogue one more time. And this time there's a few pieces that get added to it. So be sure you write those extra pieces into your book. We'll take a listen. We'll talk on the other side.
Hey, Kirk, do you have plans for Friday night?
Friday night? I don't think so. Why?
Do you want to see a movie?
Sure, I'd love to. What's playing?
Free Fall is playing at the theater. I heard it's good.
Great. I love action movies. When do you want to meet?
How about at 7 p.m. in front of the theater?
Okay. And let's get some pizza after the movie. I know a great place.
Sounds good. See you then.
All right. So they're going to go out, see a movie, and then have a couple slices of pizza afterward. It's always good to know a good place to get good food. Finding someplace here in Xinjiang that you can go hang out. My wife and I have found a handful of places that we really like, and they're not really popular. They're kind of small, and it's a nice place. It's like, hey, let's go hang out here and just chill out and relax. Some places we like because of the atmosphere. Some places we like because of the food. So what you can find, go enjoy some time with people. I said we'd talk on the other side. Now, they're going to watch an action movie called Free Fall. Now, when you look at a movie, there's something that you need to be careful of, and this is the American rating system. Now, when I see the American rating system, there are two rating systems in the United States. You have a video game rating system and a movie rating system. And the movie rating system has been around for quite a while. But the rating systems are designed to let you know before you watch the show what you can expect. So here's what you can see and expect. If you go to a movie that's rated G, a G stands for general audience. And if you go to a movie for a G, it's designed that anyone can go and watch it. This is from little kids to old people. There's not a huge burden that people will not understand from just simply watching the movie. Most Disney movies sit down at this level, a G. The next level up is a PG movie. And this is where a lot of movies that are animated for kids will sit between G and PG. Now, PG stands for parental guidance. What that means is that there may be some parts that the parent may have to explain to real little children where they don't understand what's happening. They can't just follow along and see the visuals and understand the story. The story may be a little bit more complex and they may need to explain it. Think about the difference between Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, the Disney movie, which is rated G, and Toy Story, which is rated PG. And there are some things in Toy Story that little kids may not understand. So a parent may need to explain it. The next level higher, we get to PG-13. Now, PG-13 came about because in the 1980s, Steven Spielberg created a movie called Gremlins. And if you've ever seen the movie Gremlins, it's a great movie, great holiday Christmas movie. But it's rated PG and it's pretty violent. Because of that movie, they decided we need a midway point between that and the next level. So they created PG-13. That means that it still needs parental guidance for some of the material, some of the story, but it's designed for an older group of children, kids who've seen more things, about 13 years of age. The next level higher is R. R is restricted. Now, restricted means that this is a movie that's designed for adults. In this movie, you're going to see possibly violence, bad language. One of the restrictions going back to PG-13, PG-13 in the old days, you could get away with a few semi-curse words. And you can get away with it, and you still can now. But words like the F-bomb, you might be able to get away with one in a movie as long as it wasn't actually referring to sex, but referring to something just completely, totally crazy. You could get away with probably one F-bomb. But when you move up to R, you're not limited by what you can say or what you can do. There is, you can have full frontal nudity, you can have bad language, you can show many different things. But there are some lines that you can't cross. With a restricted movie, you're supposed to be at least 17 years of age to watch the movie. But in an R-rated movie, if you're with your guardian or your parent, a child can go see the movie. And it's up to the parent's decision whether or not that child can go see the movie. And it's perfectly acceptable. The next level, though, is NC-17. And an NC-17 movie stands for no children. And this is where you start getting extreme acts of sexuality, you get extreme violence, and things that you really don't want to expose to children. If you're up to about 17 years of age, you're probably ready to be exposed to some of this material. Maybe not. And NC-17 movies don't mean that there's going to be gratuitous sex scenes or crazy things on the screen, but it just means you have to be mature to see this movie, and no children are allowed, not at all. Not even if, but this is my child. I can let him in your own home. You can do whatever you want, but at a movie theater, no. The next one above NC-17 is the X rating, and for X rating just means extreme. And there are some really good movies that are actually rated X. For example, A Clockwork Orange, Stanley Kubrick's movie about kind of dystopian British society. It's rated X. And it's rated X because it shows a scene of rape, it shows torture, and it shows violence that are and were a little extreme for its time. Now it get an NC-17 rating, but when it first came out, it got the X rating put on it because it is extreme. And that's strange because it's one of the few movies that have actually been nominated for Academy Awards that actually carry the X rating. But X has no restrictions at all. You can see any kind of thing in X. This is where you'll find Eros movies, movies depicting actual sex. And so this is where the extreme rating, a lot of things are up there. You will find some documentaries that are also labeled X because they actually show people dying, they show violence, real photography of these acts. So be very careful if you see that X rating on it. It may be because it has sex in it, but it may be for other reasons as well. So be careful with that. But that is the rating system within the United States. That's G, PG, PG-13, which are mostly for kids, for all kids, kids with a little bit of parental guidance, and kids of 13 age and younger. Here in Korea, it'd be 15. Then you have R, NC-17, and X. Those are the ratings in America. Hint, hint, that's going to be one of your quiz questions. All right, moving on. Now, do you want to go? What would you like to see? Would you like to do this? Asking someone out to go do some kind of activity, always a good thing. When you say, hey, do you want to go out and have some dinner? Hey, you want to go do this? Yeah, let's go. Now, in my family, when I was growing up, my mom, my dad, and I had a rule that said whoever asked and made the invitation was paying. And I've taken my parents out many times for lunch, dinner. My mom and I used to do it all the time. I would invite her. It's like, hey, mom, do you want to have a sandwich? Oh, I'm buying, and I take my mom out for a sandwich. I take my brother out too, but it was something that we did, and we made it a rule that if I invited, I'm buying. You invite, you're buying. We kind of come up with the idea together. Well, whoever gets the check first pays. But we would do that just so that we could go out and have a good time. It was one of the times that I realized that I had grown from being a child to being an adult. And my parents recognized it too, and they treated me differently once we made that transition. So where would you go? Here in Korea, hey, do you want to go bowling? Do you want to go to the karaoke bar or go to the noraebang? Or you want to go to the theme park? And yes, I do know some of you still have your high school uniforms, and I do know you go there to get the high school student discount. Have fun. Okay, if you can still get into your high school uniform and you can pull it off, well, then you're going to be getting a lot of good discounts. But enjoy it while you can. All right, moving on. Pronunciation. Now, when we have the words want to in English, you're going to hear it reduced often. It gets reduced to wanna. Do you wanna? Instead of not do you want to, which if you have good pronunciation, you'll make sure you say it that way. But if you're saying it fast, do you wanna? It comes out quickly. So listen to how they say want to.
Page 45. Pronunciation. A. Listen and practice. Notice how want to is reduced to wanna.
Do you want to see a movie?
Okay, that sounds great. I really want to see the new Johnny Depp movie.
New Johnny Depp movie. I like Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp's a good actor. He's one of the few actors that I would say he is very good at whatever movie he does. He is always very good. He's always a good actor. But some actors, they're not as good. They're always themselves. Think Costner. Kevin Costner, you watch him in a movie, Kevin Costner is always Kevin Costner. The only movie that I can say that he's not acting like Kevin Costner is one of his early movies, Silverado. Ever get a chance to see Silverado? If you like Western, go watch it. You'll like it. All right, now what's on? Now, here in the 21st century, you have access to cable and digital television, and the displays show what's on TV so you can find out what you want to watch. Now, unfortunately, as my wife and I have discovered many times, we have time. Oh, let's sit down, let's watch something. There's nothing on TV. Oh, we got some free time. Let's go and watch this. Oh, it's not on TV this time. All right, well, how about this? Why don't we watch this? Still not available. Oh, well. So you have to be careful. Sometimes there are special events that happen around your town. Gone several times to the different festivals that have appeared here in Xinjiang and Asan. They used to have the Water Festival and a few other festivals that would pop up from time to time. A Christmas festival, the different market festivals that come up. They haven't done them for a few years because of COVID-19, but as soon as COVID-19 starts getting less restricted, the next year, maybe 2 years, go take a look, see what you can find. Sometimes you'll find music concerts or even just special things that are happening at restaurants. Who knows? You may see a restaurant that, hey, this restaurant is having a grand opening time. You should go and take a look at it and see what it's like. All right, moving on, we come to our favorite part. Yes, we're going to do our fun part of our workbook. Now, I want you to look at the definition and write what you would say is its meaning. So these movies are exciting. You want to know what is going to happen next. I would probably put that as many types of movies. You can make it an action movie, a thriller, a mystery, a comedy. You want to know what's going to happen next. But to fill all 8 slots, there's only one combination that works for all 8 being filled. So if you have one that's like this number 1, try to find something else. So where you might put a thriller or horror for number 1, these movies are usually scary. That's usually a horror. So you put that one in that section. In part 2, what kind of movies do you like to watch? Go back to number 1 and think about the types of movies that you enjoy. Now, everybody has different types. Everybody has movies where, hey, I like this movie and you like that movie. There's not one type of movie that everybody likes. So put what kind of movie you like. Write down at least one example of what the type of movie is. So if you say, I like thrillers, give a good example of a thriller. If you're going to give an example of a thriller, try to think of a Korean thriller and a non-Korean thriller, an English-speaking movie. Try to think of one of both. Then you have different shows being shown at the movie theater. Now, at the movie theater, with all the streaming services that are available today with Netflix, Disney Plus, Hulu, and all those streaming services, going to the movie theater is going to become something that's either a luxury or a special occasion. When I first moved to South Korea, going to the movie theater was almost a necessity. And that was because my apartment didn't have air conditioning, and I lived in Seoul near Yaksu Station, with no air conditioning on the second floor. On the weekends, my apartment got hot. So for me, the movie theater became my refuge during those heat waves that we would have. And I would go to the movie theater. It was 2 stops away from my house. I would go see 1 or 2 movies. I was cheap and I would have a coffee in between. And sometimes, even if the movie was really, really bad, I wasn't actually there to watch the movie. I was there to sleep in the air conditioning. It just depends on what you're doing and where you're going. But out of necessity, this was one of the things we did. So take a look what you can do with the movies and what you want to go see. Now, we're gonna listen. I want you to listen as I read about Movie Watch. And then you're gonna answer the questions about this article. So Movie Watch. If you have free time this weekend, check out our Indie Film Fest. It's Independent Film Festival. Local filmmakers show their work. See highlights below. Barefoot. In this new take on a horror movie, 2 friends find a barefoot in the woods. They go looking for the rest of the bear with surprising and scary results. 2 p.m. Saturday. Brainstorm. This science fiction thriller takes place in the near future. A crazy scientist has invented a way to wipe out people's memories using weather events. Our hero and his team must stop the scientist before he sells his secrets to the bad guys. Bum, bum, bum. 7 p.m. Saturday. Dear Mr. Ed, one day, a young woman is reading an online advice column. She disagrees strongly with the advice given. She posts her own response with a different advice, but pretends she is an older man. To her surprise, the website offers her a job. In this funny comedy, she tries to write good advice while keeping her real identity a secret. 3 p.m. Sunday. Now, an independent movie festival. If you've ever had a chance to go see an indie film festival, usually the films are not as expensive because they're not as popular. They have different festivals here in Korea where they do film festivals. Go enjoy it. See what's being played. Answer the questions. What kind of a movie information are you getting from each of these types? All right, so the last part, write a paragraph about a movie that you like. Now, I would actually like you to write 2. Write about 1 movie that's in Korean and 1 movie that's in English. Take some time. Think about the different types of movies that you really, really enjoy, because some movies have more things that are good about them. You ask me, what kind of movies I like? I like movies that have good storytelling. For example, I enjoy things like Squid Game. I enjoy how they've told that story. I enjoy the movie of Saw. And then you may say, Saw, oh, that's so violent. Yes, it is. But if you take the violence out, it's still got a very good story. And that's what I look for, is that if it has a good story, I'm happy with it. This is where you also, if you take a look at the difference between the Marvel Cinematic Universe and the DC Cinematic Universe, the storytelling makes the difference. Where the Marvel Cinematic Universe has a very good overall story that they're trying to tell. The DC, it's not as good. So I prefer the Marvel, not because I prefer the Marvel characters. I actually like DC characters better, but the Marvel has better storytelling. So what can you do? What kind of movies would you tell me about? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you're going to be having fun. I hope you're getting ready for the end of this week and having some fun. That's right. This weekend is coming up on Halloween. Doesn't mean you're going to be able to watch Halloween stuff forever, but there are some very good Halloween and horror movies out there that you should definitely check out. Well, ladies and gentlemen, have a good and wonderful time, and I will see you in our next class. Until then, bye-bye.